Hey, how we doing, folks? Welcome back to Sunday's Koi Culture. I can't hear you, Sid. Have you?
Welcome back.
What you
There
done?
we go. There we go.
I'm back.
For some reason,
What's
it
going on?
might mute
What's
itself.
going on, people?
How we doing out there?
Yeah, I did.
How we doing, everybody? Welcome in.
Yep. Just welcome
got
in
people in.
everyone. Everyone's tumbling in, saying good afternoon. Afternoon, everyone. Chris,
Good
if
afternoon
anyone
and good
wants to
morning.
join us, Shane will pop a link up on. Can you do a link on each channel, Sid?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shane?
I can just go to all destinations and post it in there.
Yeah, so if you drop a link in on all channels, then if someone does want to come and join us and talk fishy things,
Hold on. I'll just quickly put it on.
I've done it.
Because
There
this
you
is
go.
a good idea. Are you done it?
Unless you
Perfect.
unless you can pin it to the top.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Got the wrong
Lifestyle
one,
of
but-
Liam,
oh, yeah.
Lauren, how we doing? So if there's anyone out there in the comments that does want to join us, if you're across
There's
the
the
water from us, there is a link in the comments. You might have to scroll up a little bit, but there is a
Yep.
link in the comments.
You can
Come and join us and tell us how you do things around your way. Right, so new things
What's
for you
going
this week,
on,
Ken? What have you
guys?
been up to this week?
This week, obviously, we're pretty much drum tight now, apart from obviously I'm waiting for the weather to dry out so I can get the felt on. But then we also had a result where, in a way, you know, where the old man works, the windows got smashed, right? So they
Yeah.
put up big boarding. Well, this week they've come in to actually fit the new glass.
Yeah.
So me and the old man the other night were in the koi house with the tape measure, measuring up the width and the heights, and then he's gone back to work and he's cut all the timber from the wood from that, and we've got enough to line the whole inside of the koi house.
Oh, awesome. That's a result. But don't forget, you don't want to be lining that bad boy until you've got some insulation in between it, whether it be loft
Oh, for
insulation, polystyrene.
Oh yeah,
or
there'll
you
be stuff behind it.
Polystyrene is probably your cheapest route.
Yeah, well,
But-
because I've had obviously like the new chest of drawers and everything turn up, there's packaging of plenty of polystyrene that's come with that. So in the areas where the IBC is, I'm just going to layer it up with all of that kind of polystyrene just to get them areas sealed, just so that when the tank goes in, I don't have to pull the tank out to put more in behind it.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I can just unscrew it when it comes to it, and I've got the funds, stick it in there, and then just screw it back on.
I can't remember who it was. There was a subscriber that actually put in a comment on one of my videos, and I can't remember because I've got so many bloody videos, I can't remember which one it was. But they actually gave me a link or a name of a company where you could get an 8x4 sheet of Kingspan for 20 quid.
So Selco's doing pretty much the same size, and they're obviously you've got to put the VAT on top of it, but they're just over 19 quid.
That would be your best bet for putting in between the walls.
Mm-hmm.
That would be your best bet, because ultimately, if you're going to go down the route of putting an air source heat pump in there for one of them IBCs, then you know you want to maximize efficiency, and the only way you're going to do that is by insulating the shit out of everything, which is why I said to you, ditch that. When you get the IBC, it comes on a metal pallet with a wire framework.
The metal pallet's going.
First thing you do is you take the IBC tank out, you take the pallet out, which means you've got one bolt it, get rid of the pallet, you then chop the first, so you've got your top rail,
which is what I've done.
Your legs, you chop that lot off. You then put your IBC back in, and then you've got that framework. Then is the perfect measurement start point to get a nice cut all the way around.
Well, what I was going to do is I was going to cut the top and then chop, because obviously the grounds look quite soft. I was just going to literally chop the bottom of the soil out so that the top of the bottle comes down with the frame.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Then I can put the support struts back across.
Are you gonna access the bottom drain, that valve on the bottom?
Well,
That you have that facing you, and if he's going to run it like I am with mine, you've got a switch off tap at the bottom of it. Have you got one of them on there already?
yeah, they're both of them on. Both are on there.
So he's gonna run off of that point. So if for any reason he needs to take the pump off to clean it at blanket weed or whatever, he's got an isolation point on the bottom of the IBC tank. All IBC tanks have got. And then what I did to compensate for that, I then got an proper IBC tank in with 1.5 inch hose tail. So what I did, I made a little section of solvent weldable 1.5 inch flexi pipe that went on this end with some OB1 and a Jubilee clip, and then I could solvent weld straight onto that bit of pipe then to go to my pump, knowing I didn't have to put a slide valve or a ball valve in between, because I've already got the isolation on the IBC tank. But what I'm saying to you, Shane, is while you've got the IBC tank on a flat level ground, take the pallet off, take that first rung of railing off, drop your IBC tank back in, and then you measure from that framework to where the top of the tank starts to curve.
Yeah, just starts to curve. Yeah.
So you then measure and mark all the way around from that bit of metal, and then it gives you a perfect cut line to get it nice and even all the way around. And then, like I said, instead of bowling it into the ground, if you're going to be getting an air source heat pump, what you want to do is you want to put that on some Kingspan. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. So
right. And this
is
is
the bottom of it insulation.
Yeah. And if you look at the way we built the new ponds in the new Mega Munga tunnel, that has got insulation on the bottom and on the sides, because on the two ponds that Rick's going to be running, he's also going to be running an air source heat pump on there.
Yes, brother, it is indeed the old bonfire patch.
Yeah. So no, don't half-arse it. If you're honestly, if you're looking to go down the route of an air source heat pump, and I got to admit, it's been a fucking game changer for me, because not only has my electric bill dropped by at least half, I've also been able to take the temperature up by an extra 5 degrees. You know, with all those,
welcome in.
With all those aquarium heaters I had in there, I was chewing through electric at a rapid rate of knots, and I was only able to maintain 16 degrees.
Well, yeah, because when you had it in there, we had
a question here, guys.
You had the other tanks as well.
For Vince.
Why do I have a piston on the side of my ground? Well, that piston is the very first piston that my brother-in-law blew on his speedway bike, and it's my ashtray. Plain and simple. It is my ashtray. So there you go. That answers that one.
We've all got
that answers that one.
But yeah, honestly, Shane, if you're going to go down the route of an air source heat pump, don't dig that bottom. Put it on a sheet of Celotex or even polystyrene, because you want to maximize the efficiency. And like I say, I'm now running the grown on tank at 21 degrees, and that air source heat pump hardly ever comes on, and it's maintaining that 21 for a fraction of the price. So
Well, yeah, there's obviously there's a few little projects that are obviously coming on, as you know, when you build like a growing on room or anything like that. Once you've even got it set up, your brain then goes into overdrive. Like, right, should I box this IBC off? And then if I box the IBC off, should I then just get like I put like down like a concrete screeding or something as you walk in, just so it's nice and
yeah.
Bro, I think personally, I think maybe you should make a frame and put like a top in. You know.
Yeah, I could use a heavy duty membrane.
Yeah, because if you do it like that, you'll be able to squeeze out all the space. You know what I mean? You'll be able to squeeze out all the space that you can in there and get a nice big volume. And instead of putting two IBCs in a row or something like that, and then having to kind of deal with that space, you can kind of make the thing to that space. And like,
the reason he's got the two is because he's got different projects that he wants to do.
I get that. I get that.
Not only that, the original case was going to be to turn the swimming pool 90 and have it running down the side. But to do that, because the swimming pool's 5 foot wide, it would stick out in the door frame 2 foot. So obviously the swimming pool's now going to come down. So then I went out and I sourced the second IBC, which then in turn gives me more space inside, so I could actually get the table in there for my sorting bowl, just completely open it. Yeah, exactly, whatever I want, shelving space for like the air pumps and
then on the flip side, you've actually got somewhere that you can spawn your fish.
Yeah, I can use the swimming pool at a later date for spawning.
Yeah.
Hey, Akshay.
You can then utilize the IBC tank in a way of you can then get your fry into there as long as you keep the water level low.
Yeah, I'll drop it down to like a quarter of fry, like maximum half a tank. I reckon.
Yeah. We've got a question.
Yep.
Call me daft, but don't have you seen the swimming pool would these work at the fraction of price? They do work, Will.
That's what I'm looking at, Will.
But what you've got to look at, if you're wanting them to maintain, say, 8 degrees through the winter, what you've got to look at is how far it goes down. For the one I've got, it goes down to, I think it's -2 before it stops working effectively. Can you see what I mean? And I looked at one last year.
This has got a point here. This has got a good point here.
Yes and no, Chris. Yes and no. And I know Rick does say that surface area is key, and yes, it is. But surface area can also be replicated through filtration.
Which is kind of what I'm trying to push by putting the Tempest onto it, because obviously the Tempest is like that 5,000 mark, and I'm only pushing it through 1,000 water. So therefore, by having that extra filtration, I would be increasing the surface as such, I believe.
Yeah. Now, Fry and Tosai, they do.
1 second.
They do.
Go on.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's muted.
Oh, right. No. Yeah, for fry and tosai, you know, like Rick says, surface area is key. But when you look at like my setup in there, now I got 360 gallons in that tank, and then you're going into an easy pod, into a 110 litre bio chamber, and that was way enough for that small body of water. But I've now got the K plus media in the upfield and the K plus media in the shower. And the reason for that is because as the external temps start rising, I will start rising the air source heat pump. So again, I'm using it as effectively as I can.
Send us a picture, Lauren.
Yeah, send us a picture, Lauren, because it best way to find out exactly if you bowl it up, and this was one thing that Rick said to me, when you bowl it up, 9 times out of 10, if it's soft when you press on it gently, 9 times out of 10 it's just egg. But
yeah, she's
if it's firm and solid, as in you can't push it, then 9 times out of 10 you're looking at it's possible tumor or something of that ilk.
Yeah.
So everyone went quiet then.
Yeah, everyone did go quiet.
So I'm just trying to catch up. So yeah, well, there is an air source heat pump that Jim Bob from It's What I Do, he's using, and I've actually looked into it, and that one is I think it's £799, but that one will continue working down to I think it was -15 when I read
Guys,
it.
how much liter? How many liters will one of these air source heat pumps take care of?
Well, they're mainly designed for swimming pools and jacuzzis and stuff like that. Because like the one I've got, the Hydro Pro, that is when you look at the specifications, it actually says
it is a swimming pool.
It says swimming pool heat pump.
But that's a larger swimming pool. You know, I'm just looking at ones I'm looking at are literally like a little nano box.
Yeah, and
£265.
Yeah, well, what you're looking at with one of them is you can actually keep a consistency through the summer. Yeah. So you could consistently keep your pond at 24 degrees at a fraction of a cost, electric wise, because of the ambient temperature outside.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean? And what I mean by that is once your pond hits 24 degrees, it will fluctuate up and down, like because of when you have a bloody hot day, you're guaranteed it's going to get cold in the evening, so you're going to get a drop. I mean, when we had that heavy frost a couple of days ago, my pond was 3 degrees overnight.
Yeah, just like that. It's crazy,
and that's where it becomes more effective, because you can effectively make sure that you've got a full 6 months of summer period with using the ambient temperature. Can you see what I mean? And not costing. But for me, it's such a small body of water, it's become more cost effective, because a small body of water, once you get it up to
longer,
it holds. It doesn't take.
Yeah.
It's not got a large volume of water to keep that to keep at a temp. It's going to heat up quicker, but it's going to drop down.
Yeah. How much for the whole system? What whole system? What, Mal? The whole filter system or the air source heat pump system? Because I was lucky. That air source heat pump literally cost me. Well, it hasn't cost me. Well, it has cost me because I still haven't paid enough back for it yet, because my mum paid for the circuit board. but that was
Yeah.
£160. But to buy that unit brand new, you're looking at about £3,000, which is why I say the Jim Bob uses, that's a 5 kilowatt air source heat pump. So for every kilowatt it uses, it produces 5 kilowatts worth of heat, and they are 799.
Yeah, the one that I'm looking at is 3 kilowatt.
Yeah, because I
Trying to
was
find out
looking,
what prices in India look like.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at one, and it actually looks like a little penguin. Same sort of
Oh, I
thing as
saw that one. I saw that.
It's a little 3 kilowatt air source heat pump, but it's designed for like swimming pools for the summer for the kids, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But again,
Mm.
once you hit sort of like 10 degrees and below, it then stops
Stop.
working because
Does it
it's got,
look like the outdoor unit of an air conditioner?
Pretty
it looks
much.
very similar.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
Okay, so then you can get one starting at about 600 pounds in India, 800 pounds, maybe,
Not bad.
and then they go up all the way
What
to 4 and
kilowattage is it?
5,000. So the one I'm looking at, which is 1,000 pounds, is 380 volts. So it's about 0.04 kilowatt. 0.4.
And what does it push out?
That's what I'm trying to find. Trying to find some details. Not a lot of details, bro.
'Cause I know my one, for every 1.2 kilowatts it uses, it produces 7.3 kilowatts worth of heat.
Yeah, there's not a lot of info here, man. So,
But yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Will sent it to me. Let me have a butcher's.
but yeah, you do need an inverter one. From what I've been told by our Busy and other people now, is that an inverter one, it's got like a soft start on it.
yeah.
So again, with it being a soft start, it doesn't give you that power surge. Can you see what I mean? And that's why I'm able to run it on a normal everyday 3-pin plug.
Let's try and focus.
I can't find. What you'd be better off doing is finding it on your computer and then chucking it up on the big screen.
Yeah. So the one that I was looking at was. I'm just going to switch it to that screen. Pull that over there. Close that.
Anyway, a big hello to everyone else that's joined.
Yeah.
Well, we've been gas bagging, and we haven't even got to sit. We got through Shane now. Sid, I really expected to see you sat in Japan today. Mate, it's been a rough week, hasn't it?
It has been a rough week, man. It's been quite a rough week. Just like with my mom being ill, and there's just been so much happening. I've been waiting for this visa to get done. It's costing me a little bit of money to keep constantly reschedule things and here and there,
Yeah.
you know. But it's all good. It's gonna take. I think it'll take me about till the 4th or the 5th to actually get there.
Yeah.
You know, so like a solo entrepreneur, young business, not your ideal visa candidate. It's all good. No stress.
Hey, it'll be worth the wait, brother. It will be worth the wait. It definitely will.
For sure. I'm definitely
Mum's getting better.
it's taken me a little longer. Yeah, mom's feeling much better now. She's totally out of it, completely out of the hospital now and things. So all good, all in the safe. And then we got our fish headed that are supposed to be headed here from Indonesia, but they have their flight got cancelled due to some weather issues. So the fish needed to be brought back to the facility, unbagged and prepared to get repacked, and they need to get their health certificates and their lab tests done again, which is a real bummer, you know. So
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
been a lot happening. Is this what we're talking about, Vince?
Yeah, so this is the one that Will sent me.
Yeah,
I think that's the one that Keith from Koi Kicks has just got.
bro, 20,000 liters, dude. That's heavy
Yeah,
duty.
that goes up. That's so there's that one, right? And then the one that I was referring to was this one.
Ooh, nice.
So it's cheaper than the one that Keith's using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what's the volume on it? Well, it don't really matter if you're using it on an IBC tank. Jesus Christ, it's 250
Exactly.
gallons plus whatever you put in the filters. You know, it's
exactly.
fucking
You know what I mean? So it's consumption of 600 watts.
Oh, that's much
it
better.
does from a pool volume from 10 degrees to 21 meters square.
All right, so it's 600 watts. What does it produce from that 600 watts?
3 kilowatt.
Well, that's not bad. It's not bad. And how much is
that's
that one?
good.
282.
That's much.
That's for what you want.
That's perfect.
Another way you could make that even more effective is if you was to actually put that in the filter shed itself. The only issue is to do that, you need to cut. See that big hole, round thing in the center. You need to either cut a square that's bigger than that and box round it, so it then blows straight outside.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you put it inside without that, you'll be just pissing in the wind, because
You'll basically be choking it.
Yeah, because when that heat pump kicks in and you stand in front of that fan, it's freezing. It's absolutely freezing, because what's happening is you're actually, it's working like a reverse freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's generating the heat. So and that's what Rick's going to be doing for his 2 ponds in the Munger Tunnel. He's going to build a framework.
Yeah.
And then he will cut the plastic out, and then the air source heat pump will sit there, and all that cold air will just go straight outside.
Well, that's the kind of.
Can you see what I mean?
Yeah, obviously, the only thing that I could see with that is obviously the pipe work is on the side where the blower goes out. But
yeah,
it looks like it's kind of set back though. So I should be able to build a box section on the front part, cut that out of the wood, and then cut the metal.
No,
have that squeezed up so that's blowing it out.
All you got to do is make a framework that's just big enough to go round that circle. Yeah. And then you just make, to accommodate the pipes coming out and doing a 90, you just make that framework just a little bit deeper. Can you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know
so
what you mean.
You've got the space, and with yours being a wooden shed, you can tunnel that quite well.
Yeah, obviously it's wooden inside, but it's got the metal sheet on the outside.
Yeah. And then in the winter, then all you need then is something like an 80-watt greenhouse heater, and it'll keep that running. And absolute dream through the winter as well, and costing you absolute peanuts.
Yeah. So if Hobbytown's still watching, birthday present.
In other words, he's saying, bro, put your hand in your pocket. He wants an air source heat pump.
We might get everyone may get to see Hobbytown on March and April time anyway, because he's coming back for a week. So he's not having a holiday. He will be getting put to work.
He's going to become your bitch, is he?
Why not? We've also got delivery coming as well, end of March, beginning of April, obviously from New Forest. So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one.
Well, I had a little video from our lesser spotted Ricardo this morning, and the capping's been put on the pond that we lined.
Yep.
The filters have been capped. My pond's been capped. Filter media's going in, and he's cleaned out the other one, ready for me to jump in it tomorrow and get it lined, and then we can start getting that one filled up with water.
Nice.
So yeah, the Mega Munga tunnel is on its run now. It's really coming on nicely. Mind you, I've got to do some extra pipe work because Saturday morning I had a little video from him.
Yeah,
he's done the from the ball valve to the filter for me. Yeah, he said open the ball valve up, filled up the filter, and the waste slide valves on the waste leak like a motherfucker. So I'm going to have to do some pipe work joining and then connect them up to the two ball valves that my dad bought wrong. So we got replacements, but yeah, all four fucking slide valves on that globally leak. So not only did the 4-inch slide valve that he said would be absolutely fine if I build handled for it, not only did it leak past the blade, but it was leaking out of the body as well.
Yeah. As you say, you reckon someone stepped on it and there's a little stone or something underneath of it, and it's
that was the bit of pipe that was leaking on, not the slide valve that we had. I was talking about the slide valve we had on our pond. But yeah, like I say, we were on a major high Wednesday when we left, and we was halfway down the road, and I had a video from Rick sent to me, and between the pond and the slide valve we'd put on the outside, there was water pissing out from underneath it. And the first thought was there was a manufacturer's problem with the 4-inch pipe. So beauty of having tank connectors, see, as bottom drains. He chucked a bit of 4-inch pipe in there, turned it into an instant standpipe, which also would then check any of the other pipe work that was in place. And he ended up having to dig back, had to break out a load of concrete, and when he actually broke some concrete out, he found that underneath there must have been a stone or something underneath that he'd stood on, or someone had stood on, which had cracked the pipe. So he had to dig back the concrete a bit more just so we can get a sleeve on there, so we can run a bit of pipe out to the slide valve. That's so all good, the pipe, all the other pipe works fine. So yeah, chuffed to bits. What was she showing up there then?
So I got something to show you. So you remember last week I told you I was looking at getting a greenhouse?
Yeah.
So I found the space and I'm working out the layout. And I thought I'd quickly show you guys around, right? Hold on, let me just blow it up a little bit. So on the bottom over there, on the right-hand side, that rectangle. Okay, so all the circles that you see are biofloc tanks.
Right, yeah.
Okay, all the squares that you see are IBCs.
Yep.
There's an complete L-shaped. There's an L-shaped cover on. I mean, the roof is basically transparent in 60% of it, where you
Yeah.
can see all the tanks. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But
Yep.
the gray area and where the quarantine is and where the storeroom and stuff is, that is all covered.
Where is
Partially
this?
covered.
Is this yours in Indonesia?
No, bro, this is mine in Pune, in India.
Ooh.
So this is the one that I want to set up nearby home to operate out of, so that I'm not in a rush to buy land and get caught up in some bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Because buying land in rushed can never be a good thing, no?
No, definitely not. And at the same
Um,
time, you can differentiate then the business from home.
exactly. I really need to segregate that for right now, man.
Yeah.
So it was working out to somewhere around 2,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet.
Nice.
It's not too much space, but I should be able. So the big blue bioflux, the bigger blue ones are 10,000 liters,
Yeah.
and then the smaller five of them are 5,000 liters, and then I'm gonna put in a rack of quarantine tanks, Indonesia style,
Yeah.
glass
But
tanks. Uh,
are you going to use glass tanks and not IBCs?
For the for the immediate quarantine process, like, and for when I'm treating fish, yeah, man, I'm gonna move to glass tanks.
Yeah.
Because the IBCs, in this hot weather, like, first off, I mean, it's out in the sun. The IBCs over here, they're kind of hard to clean on the bottoms and on the insides. And when I want treatments going in, I want everything glass clean. You know what I mean? Crystal clean,
Yeah.
crystal clear, not one bit of algae on the wall, nothing. Like, and I've figured that the best way to do that is just from the glass, and then I can use the IBCs as a long term, semi long term situation for fish that are under the 10-inch, 12-inch category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely.
Toast size and
Have you
stuff.
not, would you not say take out two of the smaller circle tanks and put in a little display tank or a display pond?
So that's the thing, right? I can't actually. I don't want to construct here, man, Vince. I don't want to construct here. And if I'm gonna do a show style pond, you know me, dude. I do showstoppers. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be slapping our granite there, we're going to huge waterfalls and like the whole shindig, But I don't want to put in an installation that I can't take out. Does that
Right.
Yeah.
make
So
sense? Like,
this is literally just going to be like a stepping stone.
exactly. It's going to be a stepping stone. It's going to be practical. It's going to be focused. I mean, the fish here are going to be on sale. You know what I mean? So that I don't have to, like, at home, I can just focus on my chill fish, like my home fish, like my guys,
Yeah.
The pond turns everything at home, like my space over here turns back into my personal space instead of having, and I can even do consultation from there. I can stock fish over there. I can use it as for when I'm going to a site or when I have a project going on, like sometimes we need to leave early in the morning, leave late at night. There might be a truck that needs to pull in and things like that,
Yeah.
in a commercial space, operating as a business, no stress, bro. you know
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
so that's
Right.
the
Can I
thing
just
here.
go back to a question?
Yes.
Do you think heat pumps are good to regulate summer temperatures, but too costly for winter overuse over here? No, not if you want to just maintain. Now, at the same time, you will need to cover your pond, but it's a heat pump is a cheap way. Air source heat pump is a cheap way of stopping those large up and down
Well, yeah, the spikes.
fluctuations, because you can set that at 8 degrees, and you'll find if you've got it covered and you've insulated your pond that it won't be coming on very often, but it will stop those sudden plummets and then rises in temperature, which is what
Yeah.
causes a lot of issues with dormant parasites or fucking around with their equilibrium. Can you see what I mean? So,
Yep.
and honestly, since I've had, I will not get one for the main pond, because once the main pond's done, there will be nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why the shower is
Just
going
going
in long.
inside.
Honestly,
Mhm.
I had Kashi and
Got
Skip from up north. Well, I say up north, they're up in Liverpool, weren't they?
yeah,
And
yeah.
you had the three of us in long block, and we were like this. And when I turned around to Kashi and said, "You see the shower that's out there?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "That's coming in here." And he looked at me and he went, "Where the fuck are you going to put it?" It's going to take a bit of jiggery pokery.
A little bit.
A little bit, just a little bit, just a little. But I'm also looking at putting some bypasses in, because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split the returns so that they go to underwater feeds, and then I'll split them so they go to an underwater return and the shower will then just go straight back down into the biochamber.
Yes.
So I'll still be able to generate my flow, but I'll still be using the shower as my biofiltration, but it will return back into there instead of coming back into the pond via a blade. I mean, I got a rough idea how I'm going to do it, but it is going to take a bit of jiggery pokery, because I'm also
Busy says if anyone can, Vince can. And then we've got King's Aquarium here saying, Vince, would you like some duckweed?
not until I've got some fry, because they like eating it, but after that you can fuck right off.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that
they do.
the fry like to eat the duckweed.
Yeah. And the
Arnold,
duckweed is
I might be hitting you up at some point.
Yeah, the bigger ones eat Azola. You know Azola?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I say, jiggery pokery is just the start, because not only have I got to put, there's going to be 2 sets of bypasses that will be going in. And the reason for that is I'm putting a water solar panel on top of the shed. So that in the summer, when the days are hot, I can bypass it and it will run through that, and the sun will warm it up.
Mm-hmm. So Lauren turned around and said her Asagi feels the same as other koi that she's checked. So to me, that would say that is just potentially egg bound.
Egg.
Or she's egging up. I mean, my Shiro that tried committing harikari. I mean, you asked Kashi took one, she went, she's fucking hanging with eggs. So she really could do with being spawned this year. And yes,
how much can you fit in a phone box, Vince?
Me? Hey,
a couple of IBCs.
Just a few.
Well, when you think about it, once I change it all round, you'll have 3 easy pods, 2 biochambers, 2 tempests, 1 homemade upflow, one small shower, and a shower for the main pond. Juniper tree. So yeah,
I heard that, Susan.
And at some point, ready for next winter, I want to get a diesel heater in there as well. Because the plan is for the exhaust to come out underneath the air source heat pump.
Yeah. So then the heat coming out of there goes up.
The exhaust will go up, and then we'll be taken in from the air source heat pump. Then again, trying to get it to run more efficiently.
Do you want diesel smoke being pulled in by that air source?
That's
heat
what
pump?
I was just thinking.
Do you want diesel smoke being pulled into that air source heat pump?
It's
I just hit me.
there's no real smoke that comes off of these Chinese diesel eaters.
Oh come on!
Quite,
Did you just hear
got
it?
quite a few people
That
on YouTube
sentence
that
makes no sense.
actually use them, and my brother-in-law's got one fitted in on his van, and honestly, they run like a dream, and it's not going into the water.
It's not going.
It's just
into
going into your lungs.
Mate.
Dude,
If
you're
it
gonna
comes-
get so
if
high
it-
in that little
if
filter
it-
loop. You're gonna get so high.
If it cuts down on my electric costs,
Yeah.
you know, because if I'm using a diesel heater to heat the room up, then I won't need to cover it. Because if the room is the same temperature as the tank,
Yeah.
then
I know what you're saying.
then the air source heat pump will not need to come on very often. Thus again, saving more money.
Yep.
Can you see
Sounds
what
like
I
a
mean?
game of spend a lot of money to save a little money.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, no,
Doesn't
because
that happen though everywhere?
way you've got yes, but you know,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, ultimately, if you're in the hobby and you're in the hobby for good, then ultimately it's going to save you down the line. Can you see what I
George
mean?
Murdoch says, with the price of diesel, you're brave, Vince.
But they don't use a lot of diesel though. These
I think
little,
they've only got like a little 5-litre tank or something on them, haven't they? They haven't got
yeah,
How long does
very big tanks.
they
long
go
do
for
they
quite
run
a
on?
while on
They do
one
last
tank.
quite a while on one tank.
I think Andy from Derby Coy is lasted a good few days, 2 or 3 days on one tank. Especially if you get a temperature thermostat that you can hook up to it, because then it's not constantly running at full chat.
Yeah.
As soon as the thermostat says, right, we're at temperature, it drops off, but then comes back in. So again, then you're then running that effectively, which will run that more effectively. Can you see what I mean? And over time, especially if you're like me, I want to give them the best that I can for that first stretch. Then I can then whittle them out, whether they go over to the Toso tank or they go into the IBC tank to be moved on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that once that's running properly and I've managed to get the outside insulated and covered like I want, then it will run even better. But got to take these things one little bit at a time, as and when funds are available.
Yeah, exactly. Like with anything, with most of us, you know, we've all got we'd like to do, but if we can only do it when the funds are available.
Yeah.
Dude, Japan, it burns, dude. It's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Japan is so expensive, bro. The cheapest goddamn hotel was like, I don't know, like 150 quid. You know?
Yeah, for a little box.
120 quid. You know, crazy.
For a little shoebox.
No, shoeboxes I mean, those capsules are not so expensive. The capsules are also pretty much crazy. I'm going to stay in one of those capsules for one night, though.
Just for the experience.
Before.
Oh, yeah.
Bubbles Coy, welcome in.
How we doing, Mark? I posted your ozone generator today. We got a shop with a post office, and they've got a little counter that when the post office is shut, you can go to the counter and you can still. So that will be off.
You can hand it in so it's ready for Monday morning.
Bless her cotton socks. I got in there and I was like, she's like, that bit doesn't open till 1 o'clock. I was like, oh, bugger. She went, I'll do it for you anyway. So yeah, that's posted off, Mark. Not a problem, bud. Anyway, I'm just going to have to go and grab my charger because I'm sitting on 15%. So over to you.
Yeah. Okay, mate. No worries. So yeah,
Thank you
guys,
for
I've got
reminding
a
me, Vince.
little side question for you, for everybody in chat. So I've been watching a couple of the videos from over the pond, right? And a lot of people, well, I say a lot of people, I've only seen a couple, but obviously even with like the 12 mil windows of ponds and things like that, now they've had issues where obviously temps up and down, the glass cracks. So instead of going out respending large sums of money on a new glass panel, they've just gone down for slightly thicker acrylic. Now, the afterthought, like the actual showing after, where you've got the acrylic window and then you've got the glass window, the acrylic window gives you actually much clearer clarity looking into the pond.
Mm.
And
I
it's
don't know
cheaper.
about that, man.
I'll
I
send
think
you the
acrylic
video
will get
like
scratched,
over
right?
later for the video of it. You have a watch of it and see where your mind goes.
Mm. I'm having to do acrylic on a project I got coming up because the glass, I mean, it would not be feasible to do it in glass because the size is that big. But I was sitting and thinking to myself, acrylic will probably get scratched up every time you need to scrub off the algae, right?
No, because you can get the algae scrapers that don't have a rough side.
Mm.
See,
Yeah.
Seska's put the same thing. A scratch is easy. No, seriously.
Yeah, acrylic scratches very easily. That's what he's saying.
Then my brother's turned around and gone, "You've been watching George again." Yes, Dean, I have been watching George. For those that don't know, George is the CEO of Aquascape over in America, like a large aquarium and marina show.
Nice.
And yeah, he started YouTube at a very young age, and yeah, he's got an amazing basement pond that him and obviously Ed the pond professor came in and actually helped him doing it whilst he was sent his parents on to Florida, I believe, on holiday over Christmas. And then when they came back, there was this 20 gallon pond built up in their basement.
Oh man, I wish I came home to things like that. I'd be quite happy with that, you know.
Yeah, his mum was happy, but his dad won.
I remember that one.
You remember that one, do ya? Yeah.
The tune.
His mum loved it. His dad shit a brick.
Yeah, especially when he was cutting holes in the drywall to run all the sump work and everything. He wasn't too happy.
But basement, yeah, not a lot of light, right? Hey, wait.
No, but you put like he's got other lights in there to obviously mimic.
Yeah. RGB.
Not so much RGB because you got obviously the different kind of light spectrum, but obviously you can get the other light types with like the LEDs and things like that can enhance, especially with the LED.
The only thing I didn't like about George's pond, was all that sand and stone on the bottom.
Yes, well, he's taken that out and they've put the like.
So that's my question. What's the problem with? I mean,
in there.
What's the problem that you have with the sand or the stones on the bottom?
Because it's a bacteria trap.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you've got big stones because okay, gravel and sand, the koi themselves will actually lift shit up out of it because they will root through it.
Sift through
I
it.
mean,
Yep.
the Litag media that Rick uses, you know, they actually shift that around, which is why there's one tank that they've got. They just it cloudies up because it's got lots of big fish in it, and because of that, they root about in it, and that of course makes it slightly cloudy. How are we doing, Joe? Like I say, Shane and pop in the chats a link if anyone wants to come and join us. Someone's who is it said where are we? Hang on. Don't Rick have gravel in the shop ponds? No, it's not gravel, Gavin. It's a byproduct that you get from power stations. 2 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah, answer that question, bro. They should work as long as I get the correct bulb that will give that full light spectrum. Because obviously in the koi house we're going to be running a couple of probably T5s or T8 LEDs. Hey, here's Joe.
Hiya, you all right?
How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Not bad. Sorry, I missed. I've only just tuned in, so I'm not sure what we're talking about. But I thought I'd say hello.
We're just talking on the random, mate. Talking on the
All right,
random.
nice.
At the moment, we're just talking about people with, you know, if you've got like buildings or anything like that, or you've got basement ponds, what kind of lighting would you use? Would you go down the line of a full spectrum LED?
It's really difficult because I don't think you can truly replicate the UV sunlight, and it's almost the skin quality as well, and whether or not you can even get that back even if you are using all these kind of lights and things like that. I'm not sure it replicates, and I think I've always said that I can tell if you go to a show or whatever who's got like an indoor pond and who's got an outdoor pond, and I don't even think it's sometimes coloration. I think it's actually skin quality and also this you know, with humans, like if you don't have if humans don't go outdoors and don't get enough sunlight, they're not
Take
getting
care,
enough vitamin
Arnold.
C. So you know, I truly believe that, you know, fish are the same and they do need that sunlight at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, and you down at the farm, you definitely notice a difference between kahakus that have been kept in an indoor system to kahakus that are in an outdoor system. But when those ones that are kept in an indoor system, as soon as they go out to the mud ponds, when they come back, they look a completely different fish.
Yeah, well, once the sunlight, natural sunlight hits them, it just pulls it. And obviously, you're feeding them that color food and everything like that to encourage their color to come back. They can get that color back pretty damn quickly.
It helps as well.
I think you've got to be careful. I mean, sorry.
Any further? Can I finish Gavin's question about what's in the bottom of Rick's systems?
Of course.
It's actually a byproduct from power stations, and even though it looks like clay pebbles that you get for horticultural stuff, it's not. It's very, very porous, and that's what he uses and what he has underneath all that is literally a pipe system that looks a bit like a spider with lots of holes in, and that is just connected to a pump which then sucks the water through that stuff, and I think the name for it is Litag, and then circulates the water back round. And what happens is that actually becomes both your mechanical and your biological filtration. When we emptied what is now the TW pond, that was the first time that pond had been completely emptied, including media, in 8 years.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So
god.
it shows you how effective it is in the right situation, and if you're treating it right. So yeah, sorry for cutting you off, Joe. I just
No
wanted
problem.
to finish
Yeah, yeah.
that because I was halfway through that
I need a
before you
second,
jumped
guys.
on.
Yep, no worries, Sid.
But the interest going on the UV side of it, a lot of people, but I think believe that it's just Benny that's affected. I did an interview with David Cook, I think his name was. I can't remember the name. Dr. David Poole, sorry. And he's like an expert in fish digestion and things like this. And he had a similar conversation with a goldfish company who'd bought from, I think it was India actually, these black moor goldfish. And when they'd come to the UK, they'd essentially gone like grey-white colour. And the person who'd bought them messaged the farm back in India and said, like, these fish have gone grey, white. What do I do? Like, I bought them. They were meant to be black. And he said, oh, put them in sun in really shallow water. And within a couple of days, they'd gone jet black again. So it's not actually just particularly the red colour. It's both. And I think that vitamin side of it and all these other things that exposing the fish to that is a big part as well. And I don't know if you can replicate that same exposure with lights. It'd have to be either extremely expensive.
Not necessarily. I know Mark at Cuttlebrook because I know he's moved his buildings around, but what used to be his Tosai house, he used to have metal halides above every single one of his tanks, and he had some wicked results and managing to keep Benny in place, ready for him going out in the summer. And you'll find that's why a lot of people that grow plants, whether it be vegetables or weed, they'll if they want to grow the plant, they will use a metal halide because it's an intense blue white light like you would get in the height of summer. And then when you want the tomatoes to start flowering or whatever to start flowering, you then change that bulb to what's called a high pressure sodium bulb, which then gives out a ready orange type bulb light, which then encourages plants to then bloom because that's replicating the winter light or the autumn light that's coming in. There is a lot more to it, and sometimes it's not wattage, it's the lumens that are produced.
But do you think that, I guess we all, plants are I'd say obviously there's some, you could use the plant method with koi. With marine, a lot of people would say, well, in marine they use these lights for colour, but tanks are a lot shallower in marine, so the light exposure is a lot greater.
Is a lot more intense, yes.
If you put a marine light over, say, a 4 foot deep pond in your garage, whether or not that light is giving the exposure that a koi would get in the sun. And I think, like you say, Vince, there's probably ways like at Cuttlebrook that you've mentioned that have, they're finding ways to do it. I would say it's very risky as well because I'm most likely to be using colour food, but it's almost giving the fish like it's not like natural ways of stimulating colour. So then secondary, I mean, I had a chiba in my pond where I started feeding colour food and it was getting full light exposure. Sorry, a sorghoi, and very quickly it started to become an chiba again. Got all of its coloration back, and it's like essentially like what I would think of like the crack cocaine of colour food. If you're feeding colour food and you've got like loads of UV light, so it's a really difficult toss up. But I'm not sure you can replicate. I think there's things you can do to help, but whether or not you know, if you're looking at running that as a full-time thing indoors, I would say it's very difficult. I've yet to see
I,
an example.
I do think with the way that light technology has advanced so much now, I think it can be done.
Yes,
I mean, I've got
I agree.
3 30-watt LED spotlights that sit about a foot above my growing on tank, and I've got fish in there that I've had in there all over the winter, and I've had no change in the belly whatsoever. And I'm not feeding colour food. I haven't even started making the Munger mix up yet for it. So it can be done. And the other thing is light times as well. It's all right putting something like a metal halide or the equivalent to a metal halide, whether it be LEDs. I mean, I wouldn't run a metal halide because they cost so fucking damn much to run. You're talking 600 watts plus. You can replicate that in LEDs, but if you're going to hit them with summer light, then you need to hit them with summer timetables at the same time.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now my growing on tank, the lights for that comes on at 6 o'clock in the morning and goes off at about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So it's constantly got that summer timetable, as in the light production.
Yep.
Can you see what I mean? And that's on a timer, and then when I get up and go down, I then flick the light on for the growing on shed, which is 2 bloody great long LED strip lights.
Yeah.
So they're getting that as well as what I've got across the top.
Okay, that's a bit of
a bizarre question.
Yeah.
I
don't know whether that is a promo, a question.
I haven't got a clue what that's about.
Oh, you right?
Yeah, go back to my system. That tank in there is, I think it's about 2 inches short. It's 4 foot deep.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
They're very slim. I mean, it holds 360 gallons, but it's 5 foot by 2 foot by like 4 foot deep.
But do you think that's replicating your outdoor ponds?
It is and it isn't, because it is replicating summer light, but it's replicating it without that UV, that UVB, whatever it is. Because I know when I used to keep and breed bearded dragons, you know them strip bulbs that you buy for them, you do have to replace them every sort of 6 months, because that is not just light that those bulbs were producing; they were actually producing UVBC and something else, you know. And after 6 months, you know, it does deteriorate.
The other thing I think to consider as well, sunlight's not only aiding the fish, is it? It's aiding your ecosystem, it's aiding algae growth, it's aiding blanket weed growth, and all of those things are essentially like free spirulina in your pond.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got a good layer of algae growth in that small tank, and I have had blanket weed in it as well. I had that a month or 2 ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I suspect that there might be some tanks out there where they have them indoors that don't have that, and then maybe that's where the difference comes from.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what sort of lighting are you going to be looking at, Simon, for your systems that you're going to be putting in? Because you're building the green setup at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's obviously because it's going to be in a building. It's not going to have proper exposure to UV. So although it's going to have a window in it to let light in, that window's not going to let the UV through. So the best I can possibly probably do is have one of those long farmer lights above it. You know, them grow lights.
Yep. Yeah.
I've one of, that's probably the next best thing I can do.
Well, if you was gonna go for something like that, which would be a metal halide, the best exposure you could give your tank is if instead of putting it in the bulb in a long shade with the bulb going this way, yeah, spend out a little bit more and get yourself what they call a parabolic shade.
Mm.
And basically it's like an umbrella, yeah, but the bulb points straight down.
Right.
And what happens is the umbrella directs all the light, bang, straight down into that position.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it is a concentration because of the shape of it. It can be a bitch to put together because you have to put all the bits together with little nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Trust me, I had to put 2 1 meter ones together and it was a nightmare. But once you've got them up and they're running, they do really do what you want. And they are worth spending that extra couple of quid.
Mm.
Do they do?
Don't you do me, you bastard. And again, I've got to say a big thank you to my man Kashi from Kashi's Koi, because not only did he pop in for a visit, he brought me a lovely fucking fish in. I'm now the proud owner of a Sakai Fish Farm, Super Mango Karachi Koi.
Yeah, it's a nice fish, that.
And she's beautiful. Got tiniest little shimmy on 2 scales, but oh, what a body it's got. What a body.
What size is it?
I'd say it's 30 plus. And I did make a mistake on the video. I said it was from Danny's growing show. It wasn't. It was the one from the Eden Koi Pond growing show.
Ah, okay.
So would have come from the same place.
Yeah.
Either way, because they came from Koi Water Barn. So
yeah.
But yeah, going back to lighting, I know that Haiger do a full spectrum light for fish tanks, and I'm in the back and forth stages at the moment of getting a free one to trial, but because my tanks are long, I'm going to need 2, so it'll be a case of I'll be paying for one, and they're going to supply me the other one. But yeah, we're still in the back and forward stage on that. So yeah, I will be doing a comparison in comparison from them to the LED spotlights that I'm using. So on a different note, are you showing this year, Joe?
I'm considering it. I've got quite a interesting project coming up in the magazine, which might result in me having some extra capacity at home, extra water to put some koi in. So I'm considering it, but yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up, really. I've got to decide whether I'm showing or if I'm following a story at the show or something like that now, because I can't do both and bench.
So if you do show, what show will it be that you show at?
The Great British Koi Show.
Would it be the Great British Koi Show again? You wouldn't think of doing the national then?
It's just, I mean, the Great British Koi Show is 45 minutes down a very stable motorway, like flat motorway, and my route into the national is up and down speed bumps and 3 and a bit hours or 2 and a bit hours. So you got to consider the journey you've got to put your koi through to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I kind of feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's my local one, isn't it? So
yes,
yeah.
And you did well last year, didn't you?
I got best in class Asagi.
Yeah.
I got to a first with another Ginrin Asagi. and my tancho didn't do really well. I thought I might be selling my pond, so I brought fish. The first mistake I made showing koi is I brought fish that I just thought, well, I'll chuck it in vat and see how it does. But I knew they weren't ready.
Yeah.
I had a tancho Sankey that the sumi was just under the skin. It wasn't up yet, but I thought, well, the actual tancho spot's really good. And I brought it, but I perhaps shouldn't have done. And I brought a size 5 Kahaku, and there was 14 fish in that class, and mine is male and like a flowery pattern. And
Yeah.
you're never going to compete.
Never gonna. No.
You're never going to compete with big two-step females in this country.
No.
I don't think.
No,
And that's
definitely
one of
not.
my
No,
big
it's
gripes.
definitely one of them things that it's one of them things that we always notice when you go to the shows and whatnot. If you're taking males and whatnot, and they get put in with the females, you know, it's gonna, especially with like
Yeah,
the two
but,
steps and the
I
three
mean,
steps.
pattern-wise, when it comes to the shows, they do seem to be a bit blinkered, should we
Yeah.
say?
They
when it
know what
comes
they
to-
like and
when
what
it
they
comes
want
to
to see.
patterns. You
I
know?
don't know if I could show you a picture of the fish that I bought, and you could maybe decide yourself what. I think I might have it somewhere on my PC, but yeah, it's kind of interesting because to me, I look at it and I go, "Wow, Sashi and Key were on so many little pattern areas, like the intricate detail it's taken to like breed that and condition it, that I don't even consider like body shape when I look at it. I think, yeah, it's got a nice figure. It's not slender. It's not, got massive pec fins for a male, or it's not got a yellow head or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it's like that doesn't even get considered as a fact. It's kind of like it's a two-step, and that
Oh, the
it's
fucking
two-step
comments been
female.
deleted. There we go. There we go. I got rid of it.
I don't know if I've got a picture of it on here.
Sid, you're still muted.
I said, what does that do?
I got no
I
idea.
don't know. He just keeps coming in and saying some random nonsense.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
a
You
random
always get
information.
one or two weirdos. You always get one or two weirdos.
Weirdo, bro.
Nothing
So
respect.
you never thought about showing Si?
I will do at some point. I'm not ready to at the minute. I need to have a shift round at fish and move some fish on, bring some new fish in. So I mean, that's the new koi house. That's going to be part of it, because that's going to be part of bringing new fish in. You know what? Eventually, it'll then hopefully be able to be put into shows. So that's going to be the plan. But I think I'm probably a good maybe 2 or 3 years away yet.
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same. It's going to be a few years before I think about if I'm going to take that plunge and take a couple.
Joe, you got
I've
something to
said-
show us?
You what? Sorry.
You got something to show us?
Yeah, I've got a picture if you want to see it. Of this fish that is in question.
Throw it up.
Yeah. Go
How
on,
do
send
I
it.
just present it?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a slide. I've never done this before. I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
Where is it here? Bear with me. Sorry.
That's all right.
There we go.
I don't know. I've not got a clue what you're talking about.
There you go. It should be down below.
Shane's the tech team.
There you go. So that was the fish that I brought.
Ooh.
So it was
No,
top
I
of it.
like that.
It was
Yeah.
63. It was 63 centimeters, and obviously the maximum in that size bracket 65. So it was at the top
Yeah.
of its size bracket. But is that ever going to compete with something that has massive shoulders?
Mm-mm.
No,
No.
not with the way they're making females look now. But to me, I would take that over a two-step all day long.
Yeah, but I
To
made
me,
the
it's
mistake.
more visual interest than a two-step is, especially when you've got, like you say, the Sashi and the Key was on point.
You'd
Yeah.
you'd want to be putting that into a show when it's like in baby category, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, before
Yeah.
that flowery, like the flowery
Yeah.
pattern fully breaks out, where you've still got that more of a little bit of a defined edges around it as well.
So,
It's just like,
well,
you know,
as Simon will tell you, I'm not a Go Sankey fan, am I, Simon?
No.
But that floats my boat. That does, because it's not
Mhm.
your normal 4-step.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean?
That's my big gripe, though, is that I think, you know, next year, or this year, sorry, for sure, I just wouldn't put this in my car and take it, because they've walked my VAT, I think, personally, and looked at it and gone, it's got no body, and walked off. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not saying that a lot of the judges are extremely experienced and they know what they're looking for, and
Yeah.
most likely a good koi did win that prize. So I'm not bothered about that. But I almost think it's not specifically about this koi either. No, I'm not particularly like bitter about it. It is what it is, and I
Mhm.
knew when I put it in the car that it's probably not going to stand a chance. But I think it's interesting because I would, you know, stand near my VAT or whatever, and the amount of people that would come over and go, "Oh wow, look at that! That's different."
Yeah.
That element of it is taken out of the judging process, and that's
Mm.
a conversation
Yeah,
topic.
the different side of it isn't a mark for them just because it's different. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's, as you say, it's
Righto.
just
Right, I'm
they've-
just going to
as-
nip off in a minute, guys. I'm just going to go and get some treat. I'll be back in a minute.
All right,
Oh,
boy.
so-
Okay.
All right.
I suppose it's like the question if you look at, you know, Kawari Mono, for example, and you've got a
Mhm.
Sorogoi versus a Ginrin Sorogoi, which wins if they're identical?
yeah,
Do you say the Ginrin wins because it's more complex, or do you say, I don't know, there's still the same level of complexity with a Sorogoi because of
There
food grade and
is.
everything else?
But surely shouldn't there be a separate category for Ginrin fish,
yes,
with that being the case?
Well, there's
Yes.
Ginrin for Go Sankey, isn't there? But there's not for Kawari Mono, or, you know, Ginrin Asagi goes into Asagi.
Right.
You know, so it's weird because like Kawari Mono, you've got other things in there, Ginrin Karashigoi, that are competing
Yeah.
against Achiba. You know, what do you say is more complex, an Achiba or a Ginrin Sorogoi? And you know, you've got all these different things, and to me, complexity just doesn't come into the judging process. It's kind of like body, color, and then complexity, then pattern. It's like the lowest thing down the bracket.
Yeah.
Whereas I think for somebody who's more instinctive with, there's a question in there. Do you think it'd fare better in a Japanese show? I do in some ways, because the Japanese judge on instinct. They walk up to a vat and go, "Wow, that's interesting." They don't walk up to a vat and go, "Right, let's look at body first, pattern,
Yeah.
color." They just instinctively, yes or
It's
no.
not
Do
a
I like it?
formula.
It's not a formula, yeah.
Benny has to be in a certain spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, and then in some ways, over the years, that's what's turned me off of Go Sankey. Like I said, the only real Go Sankey that I like is the Showa, and that is because they were unpredictable fish in some ways, because sometimes
they can
the
twist
sumi that you see at a young age isn't guaranteed to come back
down the
into
line.
that down the line, you know. But at the same time, certain bloodlines will,
Yeah.
certain breeders will, you know. It's the same with any variety. But I just think the way it's even with Sankey and Showa, the attitude is it starts and ends with Kahaku. So if there isn't a decent Kahaku pattern, they don't really get looked at. And I believe that, especially on a Showa, you can still get a real nice balance of all three colours without it being a pristine 2-step pattern or a pristine 3-step pattern. And that is what a shower is supposed to be. It's supposed to be an equal balance. And okay, yeah, it's personal taste. Some like them sumi heavy. I like to see a nice even balance between the 3 colors. I'm not really a fan of Kindai shower because of that reason. But at the same time, I can look at a really good Kindai shower and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Because
the Kahaku, if we're talking about Gosanki, Kahaku are probably one of the, I'd say, second most difficult variety to do, because you take any Kahaku, and if there's one shimmy or anything like that, it can ruin the illusion. And
one scale out of place on either the sashi or the kiwa.
Yeah, it's just
It just throws it straight out.
Just throws it straight out.
And then you look at Sankey, and you speak to anyone who's got any relationships with Japanese breeders or anything like that, and they just say, we don't make money on Sankey because of the culling process and everything else. And Sankey is so difficult, the most difficult variety to breed. And I mean, they are available, but if you're buying them, they're extortionate prices at the top level.
Yeah, for the real high quality, you're paying fucking exorbitant amounts of money.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the direction that Sankey's going at the minute though, with big black sumi. Like, I've done an interview with Chris Masters, who's been in the hobby a long time, and he's been around. I think he went 1992 first time to Japan, and Sankey back then was little black sumi spots, Subo sumi on the wire.
It was always dainty block, tiny little dainty blocks of sumi.
It seems over the years, they've sumis, as you say, it's just getting wider and wider.
It's big, great chunks of sumi, which is why, I mean, I was chuffed to bits that I came home with the one that I did on Wednesday from New Forest, and a lot of people jumped all over that short, saying it was borderline Kahaku. That short was
borderline.
That short was taken in the dark with my spotlight on. If you go back to Wednesday's,
so are you saying the lights don't work, Vince?
You go back to the live last Wednesday when we done the top picks, and you will actually see there is about 5 or 6 pots of sumi underneath the skin that is just sitting there waiting to come out. And with that funky pattern, once that sumi does come out, it's just going to set that fish off beautifully. It's not a Kahaku. It might look like it, and a couple of the bits of the sumi, you do have to look really hard to see it, but it is there.
Let's have a look at this. Did we have someone pop back in?
No, I think that's Sai coming back.
Yep, I'm back.
Fuck me, that food was quick.
Oh, only beans on toast. Nice and simple.
Quick down the hour hatch.
So, what are you thinking to go into your growing on setup then? Sorry, have you got a plan on what fish you're going to do? And
go Sankey, obviously.
Right, but does this plan involve breeding them later on down the line?
No, there's no plan for that at the minute.
No.
Not a minute. What boring?
I thought you would have been wheedling out all the ones you didn't want just to find the perfect 2 to say, right, I'm going to give it a go and see what I can do.
No, obviously, you know yourself. It takes loads and loads of time, space, and it's just I've just not got the time. Well, I've got the space, but I've not got the time. I've just not got the time to put into it.
Yeah. But like you said, you had fry in the fish tank that I sent you down with, and just that on its own was very time consuming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's on a fish tank level. So you know, once you start getting bigger, it does become, and a lot of people say, but you don't work. It does become a full-time job.
Mm.
Yeah.
Raising fry, because you're constantly feeding, you're constantly cleaning, because if that ammonia rises to just that little bit too high, one, you'll start losing fry, two, you'll start getting deformations on them.
And it's
You
not
know,
like it's just a 1 day clean job, is it? It's, you know,
no,
you don't just clean them once a day, do you?
no. I was twice a day at one point, and that was with a lot of fry, and that was when I had. Remember when I had the bow front fish tank?
Mm. But yeah, for the time being, it's just going to be for bringing fish in. There's a couple what I've bought what are coming in spring, coming out of quarantine in spring. So they'll be first 2 to go in, and then depending
Where are they
if I'm
coming to you from?
sorry,
Where are they coming to you from?
what, the dealer or the breeder?
Yeah, where's the dealer? Where's
The
the dealer? Oh,
dealer's
sorry, where's the breeder?
Dainichi.
Oh, nice.
They
That's
Flying
wa-
in?
from Stuart Okikoi.
no, they were from Mike and Lee at Shoshikoi.
All right, yeah.
They were bought through Dainichi auctions. But yeah, they'll not be due to finish quarantine until spring. I might not even have it built by spring, so we'll have to see.
What is it you've bought?
A Sankey and a Tanshoka Haku.
Nice.
Don't talk to me about Tanshoka Haku. I'm gutted I still haven't got
I
one.
agree, Gary.
Absolutely.
100%, Gary.
I don't know, Gary, because there's beauty out, and they can look good in all processes, from Tosai right through to when they fully don't change at all. You know what I mean? Hey, G Love, how we doing? You're quite welcome to come on and join us. Shane will chuck a link in the chat if you want to come and join us. Would be nice to have a chat with you over there. See how things are going for you over there.
It's been a
Because you
while
haven't
since
put the video out for a while.
Yeah.
Mind you, our G Love is busy because he works in the music industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want, G Love, jump on with us, bro.
Si, you're absolute bugger. Now I want a brew.
Well, Mrs. brought me that, so. Are you allowed to drop any hints of what we've got coming in the next Coy's Perspective, Joe?
Yeah. So I've done well this month. I've got 10 koi for sale, like exclusive. So it's gone from 7 to 10. Last month I think we had 50 pages. This month it'll be over 60. I'm not quite sure if I'm making a rod for my own back trying to keep up with that going forwards, to be honest. But there's just been so much going on. And I've got an interview with Alan at EZ Pond manufacturing tour, going around his place, like how the tanks are made. I've gone to Burton's and seen their facilities. Unbelievable. Like Burton's, who make the drums, they do so much more than drums, so much more complicated stuff. They do like medicine equipment for pets and vets and that kind of stuff. So I've seen their manufacturing tour in their facility, and that's unbelievable. That's in a video, like a full walk around how a drum is made. And then I've got an interview over Chris Masters Pond, which will be totally different from what I've done. He's got like a really old pond, and he's a bit of an older dealer. But not a lot of people have like seen behind his premises. And if you're not traveling up to Barnsley to go and have a look around his place, then it might be nice for people to see, because he does bring a lot of fish in.
Definitely.
So I'm excited for people to see that one as well. And I've got like a nice story on the front cover again for issue 2.
I think it'd be nice because there's not a lot of people actually know about Chris.
No.
In the fact of the big influx we've had into the hobby over the last 3 or 4 years, not a lot of people know about Chris. So yeah, that would be absolutely awesome. Sheila, my brother.
Hey guys,
How
How
are
we
you
doing,
doing,
Jake?
man?
how you guys doing?
Yep,
What's
man.
going on?
Look at that
My brother,
studio.
Young Twisted.
Hey, brother.
I appreciate you guys.
So, how are things going in the koi basement? How are the fry doing?
Good. Everything's moving. I'm finally getting with you and Ricky, man. You guys are God sent, man. I'm back home from music again, so I'm back on my koi thing. So now I can relax again.
Oh,
Enjoying your
sweet.
YouTube channels. Yep. Is that who's that? Okay. All right. Okay. I don't remember your name, but I remember watching your show, man. I love it. The koi talk show.
Koi Talk, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
loving
nice.
it. I'm loving it.
thank
I'm
you.
loving it. Yeah, but
Pre-
downstairs is doing good. Maybe I'll walk down there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let me walk down there.
So we've been talking about spawnings and that. What are you looking forward to spawning most this year?
Well, I'm taking you and Ricky's advice. I think I'm gonna go more with I'm gonna go with some because as you know, my goal is to let's see if I can show these guys down here a little bit. I don't know if I have enough light. Is there enough light?
Yeah, it's all
Yeah, we
good.
could see.
What did I just do?
There we go.
I just
No, we can just put your full screen, G.
okay.
Oh,
I want
oopsies.
Oh,
We have lost him.
I
And
think
we
he's
have.
just switching his camera. I think he was trying to flip the camera, and as we know,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
a absolute.
He's
It's a
awesome. He is.
nightmare.
How we doing, Sam? Sam Hirschfield is calling you a traitor, Si. I don't know what that's all about.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Do you want to enlighten us, Simon?
What?
Do you want to enlighten us?
I
Why are
think
you a
that's-
traitor? Because
Oh.
you're sat here.
Yeah.
Probably because of that OnlyFins live.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
It's not
what I
my
was
fault.
thinking.
It's not my fault. You can't pull the finger out to do another one.
Yeah, well, they say the team's only as good as their weakest link.
Well, they just slackers. They don't pull the finger out.
Well, you can't be moaned at then, can you?
No.
Well, hopefully G will be back in a minute.
Yeah, hopefully G will be back in a minute. I'm going to take this one to go and take a little trip to the little boy's room. So I'll
Yeah.
be
So
right back.
you're on the fence on whether to show this year. Have you not got any plans to spawn anything at any time, Joe?
Oh,
Or does
no.
that just not interest you at all?
No, I mean, I would have liked to. I need to get Ricky to buy that Kahaku that I put up a minute ago because I'd love for somebody to spawn that. With it being male as well, I think it's 63 centimeter Sanzai. It's not like a slouch either. So
What breed did that come from, Joe?
you know that young lad in Japan, Marachiku, who's been putting up them videos with interviews with Sakai and stuff like that.
All
Yes,
right.
Mhm.
That's Marachiku, that Kahaku.
Right.
Mm.
And I met him
I'm-
in Japan. He seems a proper, like genuine young guy. And he that little farm.
I'm meeting him.
Do you know what lines he
Yeah.
uses?
I bought a couple of fish for him.
I don't know what line he uses. I'm fairly sure it's Sakai line.
Right.
But his farm's been going back donkey's years, and he's recently started like taking over the business from his dad, I believe. And yeah, just a proper down to earth guy. I don't think he does massive numbers of koi, but he does compete in the Kyushu shows in the south, where you'll see like Okawa, Ueno, Ogata, and he competes really well at them shows, as you know, in smaller size categories. But he mainly does Yamabuki, Kahaku, Sankey, and some small shower as well. So yeah, nice little farm that.
That's one thing I need. I think I'm going to need in my pond. I need something nice and yellow. I'm really big on Go Sankey, but I'm missing something yellow.
Well, I mean, I love Yamabuki because I think Yamabuki are really like serene.
Yeah, he's back.
Around.
Yeah.
But no, every pond needs a Yamabuki.
Yeah.
Calm.
Or one of Ricky's kinky Deutsch Kinky Matsubas.
I love Kinky Matsubas.
Sounds a bit raunchy, that, doesn't it? Kinky Matsubas.
Yeah. Yeah, Ricky's got some absolutely beautiful golden yellow Kinky Matsubas with a perfect, nice zip. Oh, mate, they're just that and his Mizuno Ogons.
I can't believe that one didn't sell it magazine last month. It's still available, I think.
Yeah, I tell you what, in the front pond at the forest, there is some absolutely stunning Shiros. There's an absolutely beautiful Deutsch Akamatsuba. A couple of cracking Mizuno Ogons, but there's a wicked two-step Sankey in there. I think Ricky sent me home with the one that I come home with Wednesday just to shut me up about the two-step.
We'll turn you into a Go Sankey man in no time.
Yeah.
Are you Go Sankey then, Simon?
Yeah.
You are. I don't know. There's something to be said about a Go Sankey pond, but there's just so much variety out there. I don't know. There's just.
Can we hear you now, Gila?
Taste, innit?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I apologize, man. I don't want to mess the channel up.
No. Shit happens when it's international.
Yeah. I just love you guys, man. I just appreciate your YouTube channels, man. It really keeps me inspired when I'm out there doing the music thing. Sometimes I hit my YouTube on, man. It just gives you something to look forward to when you come home.
Oh, yes.
Thanks so much.
So, yeah, the question was, what are you looking forward to spawning most this year? Because you spawn every year, don't you?
Yes, I'm taking you and Ricky's advice as I was saying. I'm gonna do Hayusuri, and I'm gonna do either Sankey or Chagoy, Genrin Chagoy.
Genrin Chagoy. I like Genrin Chagoy. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the Genrin Chagoy and see what I can do with that.
You can't go wrong with
Sankey for the Chagoys.
And the 50,000 gallon pond still running sweet.
Oh man, that liquid rubber is holding up, Young Twist.
Yeah.
Out there, every time I come back home from the road, I see water in it. I smile. It's my first year after building that pond that I'm able to run it all winter. You know, being here in America, then I'm in the state of Michigan. I mean, we get 10 below easily, and the concrete just splits up, man, and I have to do it all over again. But now that liquid rubber has solved that problem.
Oh, that's awesome! Because you had to turn all the filters and everything off, didn't you, for the winter?
Yeah, I used to actually drain it, and that would even make it worse. You know, draining it, and then the earth moving and pushing up, and it would just be a big disaster.
So how accessible is koi and like koi accessories for you in where you are in America?
It's very tough to get the quality koi you guys deal with and able to get. It's tough to get it here. You know, I watch your channels a lot, and I see just how you guys help each other and how you can get access to filtration and the new modern stuff. Very complicated for us to get it here, or if we get it, it's very expensive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first got into the hobby, just buying those. You know, I used to, bless him, watch Peter Wallington a lot and commute with him a lot. And I used, you know, I got into the vortexes and the brushes in one chamber, the Jap matting and all of them, those things. And even those filters were expensive. I had to resource those in. So you talking about drum filters and stuff. Oh man, I'd have to come visit you, man, and try to ship one home.
Well, I'm sure we could sort something out somewhere down the line.
Yeah, of course. Yep, of course.
So is that like in Michigan when it goes down like -10? What that's like a different level. Like the equipment manufactured in Europe won't be able to withstand that kind of stuff, like the pumps and stuff. If there's any water in the system and it freezes to that temperature, it's just gonna wreck all the equipment. I guess you have to have like more hardy equipment for that kind of environment, I guess.
I'm not sure. It just once I had a pond before I moved house and came here. I had a disaster one winter. You know, I ran the pumps and stuff, and it did freeze, and I lost all my fish. So this is like my second time starting over.
Mm.
So it's definitely tough with the weather conditions. But you know, watching channels like you guys and learning, because I had never seen a filter house. You know, where you kept all the filtration in the house and stuff. So
Yeah.
So even when I was designing this pond, Peter Wallington helped me design this pond, and I have pipe work running into the basement area of my home. So at any point as well, I could do filtration there, and it'll just be all running underground, you know,
Yeah.
the filters and stuff to the pond outside.
So how far did you have to embed them in the ground to stop them from freezing?
Well, here they say you at least need to be 4 foot.
Damn.
You got to
If
be.
you want to see how people deal with it
Damn.
in extreme temperatures, then you want to check out Sid at Koi Run, because he's in Canada.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that up there. See, I'm in Saginaw, Michigan. I'm probably about 2 hours from Canada.
Mm.
Yeah,
He gets really cold up there, doesn't he?
Yeah, you got Sid Koi Run. You've also got Chris Stubbs. He's in Canada. You've got Ken. He's in Oshawa, Ontario, in Canada. So yeah, you've got
Chris is
a
asking,
couple.
what about Fitz in New Jersey?
Pardon?
What about
Chris
Fitz?
Taylor's asking you, what about Fitz's koi ponds in New Jersey?
Yeah, that's still, I have to jump on a plane to go there. I don't really like doing the thing by mail, you know, by mail. I like to be like you guys. You got the experience of going in the shops and looking at the koi, and you know, instead of just pictures and videos. I'd rather go and be there.
Yeah.
Pick out a fish.
So whereabouts in America is Purdin koi?
Purdin koi, they're in the south. They're down south. It stays warm down there. They're like in Mississippi, Atlanta, in that area.
Right, got ya.
I think it's a guy that used to visit them as well from what's his I think the guy from Quality Koi, Tim.
Yeah, Peterson.
Peterson, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he does
We
a
got a
lot
question here.
with Fitz's.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's probably I got a neighbor that lives probably about a mile down from me, and he's into the Doitsu koi, and he buys from Fritz a lot, but it's all by mail.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the fish on the internet, and maybe they'll send you a picture, and then you kind of go from there.
Yeah.
You know, that's
whether it be a picture or a video.
Source it back to you.
Yeah, we got a lot of dealers and farms over here that do the same thing. You know, fish are made. A lot of fish are sold down in the forest via the website from a picture.
because I
You know.
watch some of you guys' videos and I see like you go down to Adam Buyers and you go to these even is it the wholesale, koi wholesale? How you there?
Yeah.
You looking at the fish? You get to talk to the breeders
Oh
or
no,
the sales reps. I think that's
you don't get to go to koi wholesale, not unless you're an actual dealer.
oh, you can't buy from them. I didn't know that. Oh.
No,
Hmm.
no. Koi wholesale is literally what it says. He distributes to the other koi dealers around the UK.
Okay, because I seen a video with the guy that's the koi soldier there, so I didn't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I seen him
You,
visit
you,
and
you know
look.
what Lee's like. He gets around everywhere.
Yeah. He'll always find a way to get in that door.
I'm sorry, saying you say
Hey
something.
Rambo, how we doing, boy? Give me a
How we
call.
doing?
Wayside koi. Hey, John.
Yeah, that was John from Wayside G.
Yeah, that's John and Jill.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Guys.
That's
Oh
the
man,
one.
I wish I could get Jill down here to do some painting for me and John to do some building.
Yep. Sacramento koi as well down in California.
Yeah, see, that's
Yeah,
4
yeah.
hour, 5 hour flight.
You do get to go round, but only if it's like pre-arranged with Rick. Not everyone can walk in it and walk round, but the shop itself is open on the 1st of March. So the area where I call the pick a mix, and the next room where we've got the CW tank and all the other tanks, that all that area will be open to the public from the 1st of March. It just shuts to the public for winter.
Yeah.
But yeah, the forest will be open to walk in public like a shop, like you would a normal koi shop from the 1st of March.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where
not long to go.
That's where the New Forest differs from Adam Byer and Cuttlebrook Koi Farm, because Adam Byer and Cuttlebrook Koi Farm, you've got to make an arrangement to actually go there, and you're not guaranteed to walk round either.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the farms aren't as easily accessible as it seems, but yeah, we do have a lot of koi shops in and around the UK, and there's more popping up left, right, and centre. So
Not all good ones either.
No.
Not all good.
I'm not even going to go down that road.
Okay.
But yeah, I know what you're saying there. But you know, it's definitely more accessible and highly accessible compared to it is for you and other people in America. And Chris from Sweet Acres Koi Farm is asking you, G, will you be going to the All American Koi Show in Las Vegas?
Yeah, you went to the probably it's just my work. My work doesn't allow me to do a whole lot of koi shows and stuff like that. I'm really just opening up with the koi through YouTube to you guys, basically. You know, because guys around me, they don't understand, you know, that kind of money on a fish. So it's kind of like I was on an island by myself until I kind of opened up to YouTube.
Yeah.
Nice.
And everyone loves your videos.
Thank you. I'm trying to get better with it. I mean, I'm just learning from watching, you know, you guys and just, you know, try to, you know, if you get something back, I was always taught you should give something too. So I'm just trying to give my knowledge and my experience, which is definitely not on the level of you guys, but so that's kind of my goal, and to breed fish to get something to 80 centimeters. That's basically my goal, and I'm learning so much from just watching the channels and watching you guys. You know, you guys share the real, like the mistakes and everything. You know, I remember Sid was going through a thing with healthcare, and he just was showing it. So, you know, it's just a great thing. I love it.
Well, You've done spawning now for a couple of years.
Hmm.
What has been the variety that you've had the most enjoyment from
Well, as you know,
start to finish?
guy, I really love Shirosaurus, and I just enjoy
I was
those.
going to say Euros.
And I got a nice pair from Omasako, so it's that's like my most enjoyable. But my goal is to also get a fish to 80 centimeters. And as
Yeah.
you well know, the Shiros, they take a while to grow. I mean, you may get one out of there. That's my favorite, to answer your question. Yeah.
Nice.
So would you not consider doing some kind of program where you maybe mixed the Shiro in with some of Karashi Koi to get that bigger body and then breeding back to the Showa or the Shiro, sorry, to then maybe get a Shiro at 80 centimeters?
Because what I did was I actually did the Shiro with the Sankey. And
Yep, I remember seeing that.
so I got those. So I'm growing those out. We'll see if I get the you know how it is with koi. It's like a numbers game.
Yeah.
So I do have that set. So that's been one of my goals, to maybe breed back in, see who has the growing gene and who has the traits and the characters that I like. So
Yeah.
I have that. Just the when you first do it, you got to kind of go back in and breed again and again, because like right now I have some, and the Sumi is fighting against each other, from the Shiro's patch Sumi with the Sankey spotted
Yeah.
Sumi. So I'm having kind of problems with that right now. But if I get one that's nice and decent, then I breed back in. Who knows what can happen? So I do have those on the side. I try to show them on my channel, like after a little time go by, so you can see the difference in them.
So from your fry raising and your selecting, what's the biggest thing you've learned from the whole process that you've done over the last couple of years?
You can't keep them all. You just can't. Normally, I used to breed them and I raise them all, and then pick the best ones I like and move some on. My manager kind of started the Colosso Kill shop and stuff, so I would pass on to him what I didn't want, and that.
So you've actually got a shop as well.
Yeah. He handles that end of it. I'm more of the koi guy. He sees everything as business. So, and then for me, that's good, because then I don't have to, I just don't want to, what do they say, initialize them, kill them. I just, the calling process is kind of like.
Yeah, you don't want to knock any on the head.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. So, but I'm learning that, you got to get the numbers down from even watching you guys and Rick over there at New Forest Koi. You got to get the numbers down, and you just got to. I think that's and then separate them once they get to a certain size. The big ones from the smaller ones, just trying to separate and raise
Again,
different.
Such a pain, man.
Yeah. Well, it's again into that's where you go back to needing space.
Yeah.
You just need space to be able to do that, don't you?
Yes, you need a lot of space to.
You now need a 50-gallon pond.
Because see, the 50,000-gallon pond was first. I was totally just a hobbyist, get me 10, 12 real good quality koi and just raise them and get them to their potential. But then I got into the spawning thing and bringing the fish in, with the pond going crazy in the winter, cracking, leaking, but now having the 50,000-gallon pond, at least now I do have that at my assess too. So that way I'll keep the big girls downstairs, because that's like about 25 to 3,000 gallons down in my house. So I'll use the big pond to move around some of the fish, because I got plenty of room in that pond. And my future goal is to build the greenhouse.
Right, yeah.
So, and like I said, my main goal is I just want to breed a fish and get it to 80 centimeters. That's my goal.
So out of your spawnings that you've done, which one's been your biggest disappointment?
I tried to breed the Surgoid into the Shiro, and that
I
was
remember that one.
yeah. And I did it in those vats, the little maybe 200-gallon vats.
Yeah.
And I linked them together. You know, I kind of fused them together where I had some in here, some in here, and some in there. And I had the pipe work where they were connected. And the fish somehow was swimming through the pipe. And so the bigger ones start eating the small ones. So I end up with probably only like maybe at the end of that summer, maybe 20 koi.
Yeah, but the other way of doing it, though, if you was to go down the line doing that again, then you could always get like some of that small netting and just wrap it around the pipe work
And that's
to
actually
stop
what
the little ones from going through.
Yeah, I had did some DIY stuff where I had the pipe,
Yep.
the inlets, I guess, on the bottom. I had them going into a bucket with netting around it. The top, I had the little screen pieces that you screw onto the fittings.
Yep.
Somehow
they still got through it.
Somehow, I don't know how it happened.
If they can find a way, they will.
Because early on in the spine, I seen so many fry, and I was so excited. When they're real tiny, at 4 or 5 days old, then a month go by, and you don't see.
I know what you mean. It's like, wait, I thought there was more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was a big disappointment. And then out of the ones I had, I only had one that looked like a Shiro. And as you know, Twisted, that one died.
Yep.
Like Suri,
Yeah.
That one you love that you say.
Never going to get a pattern like that again. Not for a long, long while.
Yeah. So I do have, I think 4 or 5 other Surgoids still from that spawn, and I still have them. I have them in another room with the Sankey Shiros.
So is that still a goal to create a Surgoid Suri?
Yes. Yeah, what I was really trying to do.
Guys, I'm gonna need a minute.
Karge. Is that what it's called? The Karge from the Shiro?
Yeah.
That was my goal, was to get the Karge on the Shiro. Because I have a Karge Hayu Suri, so I was like trying to get a Karge Shiro Suri.
I think to get the Karge, you'd need to breed it with something that's got Matsuba.
It needs to be an Asagi without the Benny.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. I was looking in a book. I guess maybe they got it wrong. I was looking in a koi book, and they were saying that they was getting the Karge from the Surgoi and that Shiro. So
yeah, they are a Matsuba based fish, aren't they?
Yeah. It's a shame you're so far away. I've got an Irasagi that the red just didn't come, and it's got a beautiful body on it, and the Sumi's just starting to come back up in the Matsuba now. So yeah, that would be perfect to put with your Shiro.
Wow. See,
and I think you'd have more chance of getting.
It's so tough for me.
Yeah, I think have more chance of getting the Karge out of that with an Asagi than you have with a Surigoi.
Ah, okay. Because the ones I have now that I think I have like 6 of them, 5 or 6 of them there, they look just like Surgoids,
Mm-hmm.
They're big, but they look just like Surgoids.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of Surigoi, and you'll get the odd Surigoi Suri.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you really want to create a Karge, then you need to put something that's got Matsubamon in it.
Got you. Yeah. See, what would I do without you guys? See there?
Hey, I'm learning shit like this off of Ricky every time I go in there. You know, the man is just a wealth of knowledge. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and, you know, and it because of what I've learned from him. When I rebuilt my main thing, there is going to be some major changes.
Ah. Okay.
I'm not going to worry about sloping bottoms and any of that shit. Flat base, and we'll go from there. So, but yeah, that's to come. As soon as I can afford the block work, then
Is there any timeline for that?
well, it is literally funds reliant. So as soon as I can afford the block work, then I'll get it done.
Mm.
I will have to liner it again because I'll never be able to afford fiberglass, but it will end up bigger than what it is. I'll gain on the back wall, I'll gain at least a foot. I'll gain at least 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches up against the long block. And then it's going to get squared up. So I've got a big triangle of ground that's going to come out. So the wall runs in line with the long block wall.
How can you make your pond any bigger than it is apart from squaring it up?
That's what I'm doing. I'm squaring it up, and I'm going to take all the beveling out, flat bottom it, and like I say, I'm gaining a foot that way. So you've got a foot by 12 foot by in depth extra, plus that big triangle from squaring it up.
Mm.
So it will give me a much bigger pond than what I started with in that respect. And it's not like it doesn't need doing, because honestly, if you could look down this back wall, you would the decking is nice and straight, but underneath that decking, that back wall is starting to bow.
Mm.
It's starting to push the fucking fence post out on next door fence. So,
Did you ever sort that problem where your liner was starting to peel away?
No, I'm still
That's
losing.
literally just by his arm.
I'm
Is that
still
the big-
losing 2 inches over every like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it just gets topped back up, and that's all I can do at the moment. Yeah, everything is done depended on that one.
What, start worrying when it starts leaking into conservatory?
Pretty much. But no, I'm also waiting for one of the garages behind me to become available. Then I can pick up blocks here and there. And I've got a spare couple of quid and start stacking and storing them ready. Huh? So George just turned around and said you can pick up some free blocks on Marketplace.
That'd be good, George. But I don't have face arse. So
Yep. So to do that would basically be, well, someone else has got to find them for me, and then come and deliver them.
no, I'd rather. I am going to do some measurements, and I'm going to get Rick to do a calculation for me, because I'm going to do on edge.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not
what
doing
I done with the small pond.
Yeah, but don't forget mine's out of the ground as well as in the ground.
Yeah.
So to compensate, what I'll be doing is I'll be putting in a couple of pillars on the front wall and the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
In turn will actually save me on the amount of blocks that I need to use.
Which ones did you use down farm, Vince? Were they 100mm blocks or were they 140s?
They were the big 6-inch blocks.
Yeah, 140s.
Yeah, 140s.
Yeah, and
I thought
believe it or
they
not,
might have been because they're on end, aren't they?
Hmm.
But I
Yeah.
couldn't really tell from video whether they were hundreds or 140s.
but the original pond that we took out of the Munger Tunnel, it was only the side walls that were actually cemented in. The two end walls were literally dry stack, and it held all that water back. There was not a touch of cement on those blocks on the front and back wall. It was only the long walls down the sides that were put in with sand and cement.
Yeah.
You know, all the fry ponds in the hatcheries, they're all dry stone blocks. You know, they're not laid up with sand and cement. They're literally dry stacked, linered, filled up, and they hold the water back absolutely lovely. So, you know, in a lot of aspects, it's shown me that a lot of ponds that are built are actually over-engineered. You know, your video, yeah, when you done your, well, you didn't do the digging, did you? But you hit what Mark Cuttlebrook would call virgin ground.
Blue clay.
No, but what I mean by that is, you know, you hit clay, which is a compacted fucking soil. So unless it's been dug over and then refilled, that area that you've dug out is what he called virgin ground. So therefore, you don't need 8 inches to a foot of concrete. You can get away with 6 inches of concrete as a footing.
Oh yeah, that's moving nowhere.
Because it's not going anywhere, you know, and that's why a lot of people over engineer their bases, because they end up putting in a foot of concrete that if they've gone down 4 foot and that area has never been dug in the last 20 years plus, that ground's going nowhere. So why do you need to put a foot of fucking concrete in with a low of hardcore? You know, so again, you see what I mean? It's over engineered.
It varies from place to place, doesn't it? Because everybody's got different ground, haven't they? So
yeah, definitely.
All of the ponds that I've seen at my previous workplace, they're all single skin concrete block, so they're not laid flat. You know, and they're on, 2,500 gallon raised out of the floor. So
and then are they 4-inch wide or are they 6-inch wide?
4-inch.
Or 4-inch wide.
And linered, no fiberglass.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, is a single skin, but with a couple of pillars across, just to make sure. And then so I'll just fill with 4 inches of polystyrene, and then I'll clad the front.
Yep. Yeah. Then you're going to go rubber liner.
The main part, what needs to be the strongest really is the bottom, and that's it.
Bottom and the corners.
You know, this Chris Masters article that I've mentioned, his pond doesn't have a concrete base. He's just laid the fiberglass on like a dirt floor. There's no concrete base on the bottom. 7,000 gallons, that is.
Wow.
There you go. And that's been there for 30 odd years. Great. And that single skin block. It's like, I think it might not even be the 4-inch. I think it's like 3-inch, but he did 2 layers of fiberglass. So, I think he believes that the fiberglass in itself is, line is different, obviously, but fiberglass itself is quite strong.
Yeah. But what I don't get is people they'll build a pond that's in the ground and out the ground. So they go in the ground by about 3-4 foot and out the ground by about a foot. And they put a concrete base in, okay, really good. But then you've got almost 3-4 foot of soil there. Why the fuck do you need to lay all them blocks that are on the floor on that soil area. Yeah.
Mm.
Why can't you build them on edge, and then when you get level with the ground, put another little concrete collar in, and then lay your blocks flat?
Mm.
Can you see what I mean? Because you've still got a flush edge.
I suppose
But
you just have to let
you
your
know-
blocks go off. You know, on the single skin, you'd have to
Mhm.
let them blocks like go off and then lay the. But what you're saying is right. But I think a lot of people just rush it, don't they? They're just so excited to get bloody.
Yeah,
You know,
people
first
people
goal.
want
Water
people
in the
want things
ground.
full as
Yeah.
possible, don't we?
blocks, the blocks take. Can you see what I mean?
Mm. What are you? The pond that you showed us in India, Sid. That's like
Yeah.
concrete. What is it? I can't.
All of them are RCC.
Yeah. Completely different
Yeah.
to
So
anything we see over here.
yeah, they're all made out of straight poured concrete, with metal inside to support the structure, and that's at least for the base that we do. And then after that, we do the piping and brickwork and then plastering. So it's all done like similar to how you do a swimming pool without the tiles. You know, at least that's how I look at it. It kind of works out a lot more permanent. It's not going anywhere. Otherwise, good liners are really hard to find here, man. They're really hard to find here, and you're just constantly swapping out liners all the time. It's just easier to just do it in concrete, right?
So what are you actually water sealing the concrete with?
So it's like a rubberized paint. There are water sealants that you can use. I mean, there's waterproofing that you can use in the concrete mix as well. So I use that, and that's kind of what I primarily rely on. But then the final coat that I put on will be a rubberized paint, like a black rubberized paint.
Is it smooth or is it rough, like to touch?
The paint, it's it's butyl. I think that's what it's called, butyl.
What?
So like the rubber from the tire tube of a motorcycle, it's almost literally the same thing,
Right. Okay.
but a liquid version of it. So you could push it with your nail and you'll feel it being soft, you know.
Okay. Yeah. But no
And
worries about fish like swimming against it or anything like that.
no
No.
stress, man. No stress. I mean, see, a fish that's splashing is gonna go and hurt himself regardless of what,
Yeah.
regardless of what you do. Yeah. Obviously, like if you've got sharp edges and stuff, then that's a problem. But we don't do sharp edges.
No.
And the material itself is not rough at all. So
No. I
it's
believe
really
that's a
smooth.
similar method to what they use in Japan, to be fair. More similar
Yeah.
than what we do over here with the blocks. I think they'd look at what we do and go, what a bloody waste of money, with all the blocks and stuff like that. You know, I think there was an interview with Mike Snaden from Umicore. He said the same thing. Like the breeders go around to his place and go, what on earth is this? But, you know, I think Mike's got his methods and he sticks to them and everything else, you know, but I think the Japanese are just so simple in what they do. We complicate.
Yeah, I was lucky to visit Mike Snaden's house before he moved to Japan, and that inside pond of his, that was just something else. Absolutely something else.
I never got around to seeing any of it. Well,
No.
is any of it on YouTube at all?
I'm sure there must be something on there.
Mark's got loads of videos on YouTube. I don't know whether there's any result.
His old house and his old systems.
I think Chip's got a video on there a big old long time ago, but it was I seem to remember watching something. Yeah.
Well, there's one on Chips, and I'll scroll back. I'll scroll back on Chip's channel and have a look.
That guy Kevin Ellis, the Koi Nerd, he has a lot of the Mike's. I used to watch that on Vimeo.
Yeah, I used to watch Kevin on Vimeo.
Yeah, watch that stuff, and they'd be at it all the time.
Yeah, Yeah.
Kev's a legend, isn't he?
Oh, mate.
Love that
I
guy.
was gutted that he didn't continue on YouTube, but someone told me that he's no longer got his pond either.
Really?
Oh,
I think
Wow.
he's mainly focusing on his fishing now, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
He's a
But
professional
yeah,
fisherman or something.
I don't know what he
He
does.
does a
But
lot out. He does a lot out at Rainbow Lake and that, doesn't he, in France?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So how thick was the rubberized paint that you used, G, when you done the big pond?
It's sort of like what Sid was saying. It's like it. You don't have to mix it or nothing, but it's more like tar, like a tar substance.
Because you had to put 3 coats on, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually did 4. Yeah, 4 coats. Very expensive, but so far it's doing what it says on the tin.
So how many coats do you put on, Sid, when you use the product that you use? Do you only just use the one?
Maximum 2. Maximum 2 coats, and that too if the person that's building the pond is like super worried, about it holding water, then I do 2 coats. Otherwise, I normally get away with 1. I can basically get the pond to hold water just in bare concrete construction. If the waterproofing in the mix is done right, you don't need jack squat to hold that water in there. The rubberized paint that I put on is just like to make sure that I separate the water from the cement itself, like the concrete itself,
Yeah,
and reduce its exposure to that. And then secondly, also because I get to put dye inside the rubber exactly to the shade that I want, so that I could make it light, dark, very dark, and then maybe even slap in some color if I ever wanted to, which I'm not gonna want to. But so 2 layers at max. I managed to get maybe something around like 2 mm, 1.5 mm thickness
yeah.
on 1 coat with a roller, and boom, there you go. You just need to make sure you don't got no pinpricks and stuff, so that the water doesn't manage to get behind the rubber. That's the only thing.
Yeah, last thing
mean-
you want to do is the water getting in the rubber and just pulling it away from the cement.
Yeah.
So
Is there
in
any temperature restraints on that stuff, Sid?
See, I can't tell you what it reacts like in like -10 and things like that, but like in my temperatures that I deal with over here, which are nothing that y'all ever deal with, it's perfectly fine, like I did I mean, I made a mistake when I was waterproofing my pond, and I was a little lazy with one of the sides, and I left a couple of pinprick marks over there, and the water got behind it and it started ripping. So like I need to get that sorted out. But other than that, I've not had any issues with it, guys. I've been using it for about 2.5, 3 years now. I've used it on a whole bunch of different ponds. No stress whatsoever. And it's cheap as hell in India as well. Because it's basically the product that I buy is used for bathroom tiles. To put, it's like a rubberized coat to put under your tiles in the bathroom just to make sure that waterproofing is super tight. That's the product that I had. Pardon?
Sort of like for a wet room.
Yeah, exactly. And so it works really well. And I just got lucky, finding that product, because there's no particular paints. I mean, pond specific products like this in India. You get them over there, but you know how I roll, right? I just try and find anything I can find that's similar contents and try and make that work.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The first couple of times when I was doing the waterproofing, I didn't know what to use. So I had basically done a couple of coats inside these random tubs and tossed some guppies in. And let's just see which one works the best, And this one had worked pretty well. There was no issues there. Yeah, man, I use guppies as tester fish. What's the stress in that?
You crack me up sometimes.
What to say now? I'm a little raw. Rough around the edges.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a little rough around the edges.
Nope.
Yep.
So
Anywho.
anyway, we've been rolling for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So this is going to be our longest live yet.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is our longest live.
And I'm hungry as hell.
Oh, I bet you are. Bet you are.
Well, if there's no other questions, don't disappear straight away.
Yeah.
We'll get backstage. But I would just like to say, Joe for coming on, Simon for coming on, G-Love for joining us.
Oh yeah, guys, thank you so
It's
much.
been an absolutely great show. Hope you guys out there have enjoyed it. Don't forget, go to Weech channel. I know Samuel hasn't been out to join us today because
Smash the like button.
Samuel's face is up like a balloon because he's got a raging tooth. So he's been in the comments, he's been listening to everyone. So if you can go all 4 channels, guys, smash the like button for it. It's been a great show. As always, I've been Twisted Coy.
I've
He's
been
been
Hearts
Shane.
Boy.
See you later.
And it's been Ochiba Koi India.
Go on, Joe.
Man,
The Koi Perspective, Joe.
G-Love.
Colossal Koi, go over and give Julian a subscribe. And Joe, the Koi Perspective. And not forgetting our Simondo, otherwise known as Ewok. It's been a great show.
Ewok.
Don't forget, same place, same time, next week.
Take care,
Catch you
everybody.
later, guys.
Bye bye.